I'm thinking there's something to it if the Saints get the number one overall pick, and this kind of ties into a question I actually have for you before we get into the games and everything today. If the Saints do get the number one overall pick, it's almost guaranteed that they're gonna just move on from Rattler, trade Rattler out. Um, you think he's a possibility for a team like the Raiders if you want to just get another young arm in there in the room, like for next season during the offseason? Because I do believe that the quarterback room in Vegas land does need to be upgraded overall from just Geno Smith and Kenny Pickett. But that falls back into what we were initially discussing as far as Arch Manning and coming out. Personally, I don't think he's going to come out at all. I think that this SEC schedule is going to get even tougher on him.
Mhm.
He's about to see even tougher defenses. So, given the fact that he will be well under 20 career collegiate starts, which is also another red flag for a lot of young quarterbacks coming out of college, for him to have under 20 career college starts and perform poorly in more than half of them, I think that would be a terrible look for him. But so, what do you think?
Well, Spencer's what? This is his second year, so you would still technically be in contract with New Orleans, I believe. So, I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you paid Geno Smith a lot of money, so I think we're going to see him for at least the next couple of years. But look, we talked about this last week. If he continues to have the turnovers, Pete Carroll's going to have to sit him down, and you play Kenny.
But that's also his guy. That's his man's
I know,
100
but
grand from Seattle. I'm not sure if he would quote unquote embarrass Gino like that. But
it's not him. He's embarrassing himself by
well, I
doing
mean,
the.
you're right. I mean, I watch the games. I'm not as invested as you are, but I watch the games. And Gino, as talent deprived overall as that roster is, they still play tough. They play hard. They got some guys out there that are playing still at a high level, like Devin White, um, Tyree. He's Wilson. He appears to be starting to turn the corner somewhat for them as well. But Geno's out there costing them games, and that's one cardinal sin that you can't commit as a veteran quarterback. People can deal with you not having a high ceiling, not getting the 380-yard passing games for 4 touchdowns. But one thing you can't do as a vet is turn the ball over. They'd be better off with a rookie out there if that's the case.
Look, they lose today to Indianapolis. Season's over. They'll be 1-4. That is very difficult to come back from, and they got to buy next week. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see some changes.
Understood. Understood. On to the games. We got game that started at 9:30 over here. I don't know how many people really got up outside of Cleveland and Minnesota to really watch this game, but hey, man, we got some Vikings and Browns going on. We also got some Rams and 49ers with a controversial ending that happened a couple days ago. So, what do you want to start with?
Well, let's start with the Niners and Rams. Obviously, game went into overtime, and
Mhm.
some decisions by Sean McVay, I believe, cost his team a win. But give all the credit to the Niners. They were, I think, they were what 9-point underdogs. They had a lot of injuries on the offensive side of the football, and Mac Jones looked good.
Yeah, heroic effort, man. Heroic effort. As much crap as I give Shanahan and the 49ers, mainly because they're uh, not really a current rival of ours, or even in the past for that matter, but they're in the same conference as us. So we're one of those teams, and they're one of those teams that each other got to go through or whatnot. But that was a great effort, man. Great coaching. For them to play that disciplined of a game, I would still say this: the Rams, and for me, it all goes back to Sean McVay. And you can also talk about the game from a couple weeks ago that they kind of blew away at Philadelphia. Sometimes he can't get out of his own way with the play calling. I also think that, and this is a guy I believe is a excellent head coach. He's won the Super Bowl. He's been to two. He struggles with having a quality rushing attack. I think he struggles with being able to consistently keep that rushing attack mixed into the full repertoire of the game plan. He'll start out with it early. They'll have success. And then after they have success, it's like, oh, crap. Matthew, got to throw the ball a little bit with him, and then Matthew will have his rhythm, he'll have his success, and then they'll ignore the rushing attack for like 3 or 4 drives, honestly, and then it's like by the time you go back to the rushing attack, the groove is gone. Running backs need volume, they need rhythm, they need carries. Wide receivers, they need volume, they need rhythm, they need carries. And as a rushing attack, you don't get it with him. I get it that Kyron Williams, quote unquote, committed a cardinal sin by fumbling on the 1 yard line. That was a hell of a play by Alfred Collins, though, also. But, if you look at Blake Corum having a 13-yard run on his very first carry, and then, he has a fumble, and then you sit him down, you kill it. You basically kill his confidence, you kill his rhythm. Then when you go back to him, he gets the ball on a pitch, and pitches are already highly, highly risky plays in regards to fumbles and drop passes. And he has that, and now it's like, oh, well, he's the villain. He and Kyron Williams are the villain when at the end of the day, he had 1 carry for 13 yards. That's a 13-yard average. And then Williams had 14 for, if I'm not mistaken, he was getting 5.8 yards per carry. And you kill his rhythm. So Stafford can throw the ball 47 damn times in a game that barely hit 40 points.
But when he needed to throw the ball, he didn't. He tried to run it. And that was on that 4th and 1 play. Hey, let me ask you something. And real quick, the Browns just scored a touchdown, David Njoku from Dylan Gabriel. So they are up 17-14. The overtime rules. So I believe that it should not be 10 minutes. I believe it should be 15 minutes. I also believe if you win the toss in overtime, you receive the ball. You don't defer. What do you think?
I don't really think there's anything really wrong with it right now.
Well, that's twice. We've seen this now twice. Essentially, this game should to me, a tie would have been better than a loss, in my opinion. Especially
for both teams,
Yeah, I mean, but like for the Rams, they have not had much success against the Niners, even when they're hurt. So my thought was, okay, that 4th and 1, you kick the field goal. You still have, it's a little bit over 2 minutes left. You have 2 timeouts. You still have the 2-minute warning in overtime. You try to get your defense to get you the ball back.
Dan Campbell would have did that too. Dan would have did. I don't knock his mentality for it in that situation.
But what about the play calling? The play calling, I have an issue with the play calling because essentially Puka Nacua is out there, best receiver out there on the field. You got to try to get him the ball.
I don't disagree with running the football. I disagree with the play because we're talking about 4th and 1. Now maybe he was still under this mind frame that, well, my guys, one guy had a 13-yard carry earlier in the game. The other guy was averaging 5.8. We can get this. No, you already killed both of their rhythm by the time they got the football at the end of the day. And if you look at that defensive front that Frisco presented for them at that point in time, why would you still run that same counter? It didn't make any sense. They smashed that entire side of the offensive line, and it was evident before you even hiked the football. Now, if you wanted to do maybe a toss to the weak side, something where you can get your running back out, get Kyron Williams or Blake Corum out there in space on the perimeter to get that 1 yard. I like that better. I don't really have an issue with the actual decision to actually run a run play at all. Now, if you want to put in the ball in the air on 4th and 1, though, and I mean, there's only so much you can run on 4th and 1.
I understand that. Play action, something, because I mean, look, once they lined up, they knew it was going to be a run.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, to me, and then they line up, and then the Niners have to call a timeout, right? Call a timeout, and then he comes back. I'm like, all right, they're trying to jump him or make them jump off sides to get the 5, right? That doesn't happen. Then they come back, and I was like, wait a minute, they're going to go for it? They're not going to kick the field goal? You still have time on the game. It's over 2 minutes.
Okay, does all of that say more about game management?
To me, it kind of
does. Players. It's as great of a head coach as he is, he single-handedly cost them 2 games.
God.
He
Carson.
single-handedly cost them 2 games. There's no rational reason in hell that you should have. They were a touchdown favorite. There was
Yeah,
no rational reason
over
against
touchdown
that.
favorite.
And I don't give a damn about them being a divisional rival and knowing you very well and all this other stuff. They were out there with their third, fourth, and fifth wide receivers. They were out there with a bunch of rookies. They were out there with their main guys, and you still allowed that type of game to even head to overtime and lose. When you had, I've talked to San Francisco 49er fans since that game that all told me the same exact thing. All McVay had to do was just keep running the ball. We couldn't stop them. Everyone saw that Philadelphia couldn't stop them 2 weeks ago. And what happened? They went away from it to make sure Stafford got his sexy throws, and they fed their wide receivers on the outside. And they couldn't just beat Philadelphia. They had to beat Philadelphia with cool points. And I think that's the problem with the Rams.
Yeah,
They
but
focus too much on cool points. They don't have the substance and the grit to really pull out these games that they're supposed to pull out. They're talented enough, but come on, man. These last 2 weeks, well, not counting the Colt game, but these last 3 games, man, there's no excuse for it.
yeah, man, it's I don't know, man. And then just a tie, it's a divisional game, so it's better than
Right.
a loss. I don't know, man. I was just thinking about all that. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what is he doing? And I don't know, man. And then the whole overtime thing, it's gotta be 15 minutes, man. 10 minutes is not too long.
In theory, we want a winner. Unless if it ends in a tie, you just give both teams a point, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. They need
Because
to
I think because you can't have a team play another full 15 minutes of football and then get nothing from it. So I think if a game does end in a tie, it shouldn't count as a loss.
well, I mean, it technically doesn't. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but it kind of puts a lot more weight on those divisional games now, which I guess is also part of what the NFL would like. But I mean, you could always go back to the first team who scores wins.
I didn't like that one. Well, I
What are we
mean,
gonna
look,
have? Double overtime? 30
yeah.
minutes? Extra 30 minutes of football?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go and move on.
Go.
Let's talk. Well, we can talk Vikings Browns. I don't know if you want to. I mean, not really much to say. Dylan Gabriel's first career start in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty good right now. He's got 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah, there's something in the water, man.
There is.
Teams go over there and they have those early starts or whatnot, and the
And,
Vikings quarterback play is still a little iffy,
and this is against Brian Flores defense.
yeah. Minnesota's a different team outside of that dome, man. I understand it's not the Metro Dome from back in the day with the terrible flooring, but they're a very different team when they're not at home. Still a good football team, but they're kind of shaky outside of that dome. But I did pick them to win today, though, so not looking so good so far, huh?
I took the Browns.
There you go.
I did take the Rams though Thursday,
Yeah.
so I'm 1-1.
I think everybody did,
Not everyone. Most people,
82%.
Man, I just
82%, man.
Just so frustrating to watch, man. It really was. I was pulling for the Rams. Hard.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Cowboys Jets. Well, I don't know if you saw this, but the Cowboys, I think they're going to be missing 3 offensive linemen today.
Absolutely. And that goes up against a New York Jets defensive front ran by Aaron Glenn now, who's very, very, well, I'm not going to say very, very blitz heavy, but he does like to play man on the outside and try to get pressure, at least in regards to what went on here in Detroit with those front four guys and Quentin Williams. And they got some guys over there that can wreak some havoc for Dallas. But problem is this: Dallas has scored a lot of points. Dallas can't stop anybody. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Brees Hall had a very good game last week. Rushing wise, averaging almost 6 yards per carry. You got a guy like Garrett Wilson on the outside who can provide a lot of problems and put a lot of stress on those Cowboys corners and safeties. Tight end wise, what's his last name? Ruckert. Jeremy Ruckert, the tight end. He's been getting more targets as of late. So then you got Justin Fields, who's a human joystick out there. I think it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough game for Dallas to deal with them as far as that rushing attack, as well as them being able to make big plays downfield with a guy like Garrett Wilson. I got the Jets. You may not have the Jets. You may have Dallas.
Yep,
You got Dallas.
I
Yeah,
do.
I mean, well, Dallas is missing
Yeah,
some people.
you know, I hope they never put the Jets on prime time again. It was difficult to watch last week. It was pretty
You
bad.
know what else is difficult to watch? That
Geno,
secondary of Dallas. That's difficult to watch, man.
I thought you were gonna say Geno Smith. I was saying, yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, Geno's been difficult to watch for a minute.
Damn, yeah, man, not good. But yeah, I'll take Dallas. I just can't pick the Jets unless to throw the ball to Garrett Wilson like 20 times. Give him a chance. Justin Fields, damn man.
I mean, I honestly for the Jets, I would like to see Brees Hall get his 24 carries, his
That too.
25 carries. You know,
All right, let's go to move on. Let's go to Giants at the Saints.
I took the Giants. I understand, no Malik Neighbors. This is one of those rubber meets the road type of games. I think similar to what the Carolina Panthers have as far as their matchup that they got later on that game that we're going to discuss in a few minutes. But if you're them in that situation, this is a game that you can't let get away. Thank you for the Giants. Commanders, granted, they're winning. They've won some games, but they're still been kind of shaky. They had a bad loss to the Falcons a week ago. So you pretty much have no chance of catching Philadelphia. But if you're the Giants, you do have at least a puncher's chance of staying in the mix with Dallas and the Washington Commanders. So I think they need to beat the Saints today. They need to figure out a way to beat the Saints. As much as I do like Spencer Rattler, I think he gets a bad rap in New Orleans. The whole thing is this: if he was the number one overall pick and he was playing as conservative as he was playing and taking all the easy completions, everything that they said he needed to learn how to do, which is oddly enough, he was told that he was too much of a gunslinger in high school and college. He needed to do the little things. Now that he's doing the little things, they knock him for doing the little things and not being enough of a gunslinger. But they still struggle to really make plays downfield. And I think as an NFL offense, if you want to really win games, it's going to be difficult not being able to generate a 40-yard play here and there, a 35-yard play, a 25-yard run. Everything is so 2, 3, 4 yards here and there for them, and then they fizzle out drives. So if you're the Giants and that pass rush, and I know that Giants pass rush hasn't been as advertised as we thought it would be before the season started, this is a game right here. This is a game where y'all can eat. Spencer can move a little bit. He's not a statue back there, but he's not the most athletic quarterback. So if you're the Giants front seven, I think this is a game that you guys can go out there and eat and dominate. And from a defensive standpoint, the Saints, they can get pressure on Dart. That's for sure, because that Giants offensive line has not been very good. That Saints front seven, well, at least the Saints front four, has been pretty decent in regards to getting after the quarterback. So it's gonna come down to which defensive front can dominate the game. And I think if that particular team's defensive front can dominate the game, that means the offense can probably run the ball well enough and they can get out with an ugly win. Because I expect this to be an ugly game.
Yeah, New Orleans is not the easiest place to play. Well,
used to not be.
I think they'll stick it up for this game. I'm going to go with the Saints. I think Kamara has a big game. 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing.
Really? I know you heard about some potential trade deadline rumors about him.
Yes, I did.
Well, I mentioned that a couple weeks ago. If you're them, if somebody wants him, I'm not to say that you're going to get anything of high value draft capital wise for him, but So I know, Casey. These are guys that are chiming in from the Lions Avenue page. They follow the page, man.
Right on. Appreciate the support. Browns are going to beat the Packers, Vikes, and have lost to the Lions.
I thought about that, Casey. It wouldn't shock me if they did. They ain't beat us though, but it wouldn't shock me if they did. Problematic.
All right, well, let's go and move on to the next game. The Las Vegas Raiders visiting the Indianapolis Colts. I am sure that you saw what happened Friday night, Saturday morning to Mark Sanchez. Not a good situation for him, but hopefully he gets better soon. That's pretty wild, though.
Yeah, yeah. Wild is not the word, man. I don't have many viewpoints on that right now. But
Brady Quinn will be calling the game, by the way, with Chris Myers.
Quinn ain't bad.
He's not. All right, the Colts are 7-point favorites. I know which way you're going, but go ahead and tell me who you taking.
Um, okay, so Colts.
Okay. Any reason?
Better team, right now. And I will say this for as far as the Colts, they coulda, woulda, shoulda that Rams game. A week ago, a little bit got exposed. I think as far as the passing attack when they really need to throw the football consistently, even though they put up a pretty tough effort a week ago against the Rams, but they're still their team. They can run the football. They play tough defense. They got a quarterback who's not a statue back there. He can pick up first downs with his legs. They got a nice possession guy in Michael Pittman. As I keep raving about the tight end out of
Penn
what's his
State.
name? Penn State,
Tyler
yeah.
Warren.
Tyler Warren. Monster out there.
Yeah, he is.
I still believe they need another wide receiver, another consistent one, because Adrian Mitchell, issues he had at Georgia was a big reason why lost his job at Georgia. Went over to Texas, showed flashes at Texas, but was another inconsistent guy who routinely dropped the football and has mental lapses. We saw a perfect game last week of him. You'll see the big time talent flashed by Mitchell, and then you'll see boneheaded plays and drops from Mitchell. So they need somebody else that they can consistently depend on throwing the football to, other than Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman, who's a possession guy. You could also argue maybe they need another backup, another change of pace running back for that matter, and a couple offensive linemen. But yeah, right now the Raiders, man, it hurts me to see it because I felt that after the entire Antonio Pierce situation from a year ago, that they went into the Pete Carroll direction because they needed an adult in the room. They needed somebody to, you get it. And you're bringing in a championship winning coach, been to a couple Super Bowls, NFC champion, AFC, NFC West championships, and all that good stuff. He's got all the accolades. He's the adult in the room. And those type of coaches have a tendency to view football from a win now standpoint. I'm not here to help you build shit. And I think to some organizations who need help building, like the Raiders do, that can be to their detriment. Any moves that they make is going to be for Pete to win now. It's not going to be to make the Raiders better for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
And I'm fine with that because they haven't won anything in a long time. I'm really good. The rebuild,
if done properly, you want it done properly. You don't want
of course you do,
and you want it done by the right people. But you're not getting Pete Carroll from the early Seattle days that was building a team pretty much from the ground up.
Look, he's the one that brought over the quarterback. The quarterback's the issue. The main issue is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Special teams play too. Look, Michael Mayer, he's been out with a concussion. He was actually supposed to be on the right side of the line on that special teams play when they blocked the field goal. He was there. Raiders won the game, but unfortunately he was not. And yeah, just poor execution by this football team. But a lot of it has to do with Geno. He is not. I don't even know what it is, man. It's frustrating to watch. He had really bad turnovers last week, man. 2 identical passes, and Kevin Byard knew where he was going. He just stepped in and got the ball.
Problem is, he should have went to Minnesota before he went to the Raiders. Maybe O'Connell could have fixed him first.
Oh, come on.
Kevin O'Connell, hey, man, he's the mechanic, man. You send a quarterback to him, he fixes them, and he sends them off to somebody else to rob them for money.
Geppetto?
He's pulling all the strings. Yeah, it's man. As I talked to you about Geno before the season started, so we all saw this coming.
Man, I didn't see him having like 7 interceptions in the
Why
first 4
not?
weeks. Jesus.
Did you pay attention to Geno with the Jets and Geno with the Giants and Geno with the Seahawks and Geno being single handedly the reason that they
He,
damn near choked away that playoff spot 2 years ago that they eventually got when they had remember they when they won the last game of the season over the Rams and they ended up putting us out the last week of the season. He was the reason that they had that collapse towards the end of the season.
well, look, I'm picking the Raiders this week, but this is
No,
my last week picking this damn football team, man. They
no,
got to
it's
win.
not.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
you're doing it. I'm not picking them next week.
I know you won't pick them next week, but you might. If they win this week, you might be juiced up.
Well, it's going to be kind of hard because they'll be on the
You
bye
might
next week. So.
turnarounds coming. Yeah, of course not. But
All
like I
right.
said, you'll be juiced up.
Yeah, should be good if they win. All right. Dolphins at the Panthers. Obviously, Tyreek Hill.
Bryce.
Nasty injury last week. He's going to be out. Probably played his last down with the Dolphins. Panthers. This is not the best game on paper. But with that being said, I want to go and take the Dolphins.
I'm sure.
I'm
gonna take the Panthers.
I know you are.
Yeah, it's another one of those games. I felt like last week's game against the New England Patriots should have been. Well, it was one of those games for Carolina. I felt bad for them because in a situation like that, when you're a team that's rebuilding with a young quarterback and relatively new head coach, and then you're going up against a team that has a quarterback in his second year in the league, they're rebuilding as well. Difference is they have a head coach with a ton of experience. That's kind of that measuring stick game for you as an organization. And for Carolina to lay an egg as bad as they did at New England, I think that was very disheartening for a Carolina Panthers fan to see that. So you follow up with another one of these games. Listen, there's no Tyreek Hill left. I don't think people understand how drastically that changes their offense. As much as I do like Jalen Waddle isn't the number one out there. He's also a guy that can't really stay healthy for the most part. He's kind of struggled to stay healthy his first few years in the league. The rushing attack is kind of hit or miss. When they get things going with A-Chain, they got something there because he can be lightning in the bottle. But the defense still isn't any good. Like I said, they're missing Tyreek Hill, their best offensive player. You can argue Tyreek Hill was their best football player, period, on the team. Tua is a guy who already struggles to push the ball downfield and make big plays. That was his guy. That was his number one target in regards to that situation. So Carolina, I think Carolina gets right this week.
All right, we shall see. All right, let's go next game. Broncos at the Eagles.
Broncos birds over the horses. I got the birds over the horses, man.
And, you know,
I think it's gonna be a very tight game, though.
And then Vic Fangio, he used to be the head coach of the Denver Broncos previously, so you know this game means probably a little bit more to him than a normal game. So I think he's gonna, have some things dialed up for Bo Nix.
Yeah, I think defensively Denver's gonna have some things. They're gonna have some stuff drawn up for Jalen Hurts as well out there.
Oh, and you know what? I did want to bring up something else. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Report came out yesterday about AJ Brown and Devontae Smith being frustrated with the offense. Essentially, whenever they get into the red zone, they know it's going to be a Jalen Hurts run or a Saquon run. They want the ball in their hands. And it's not just AJ Brown being frustrated. It's actually both receivers.
Yeah, you got a guy in AJ Brown who's like the prototypical number one alpha type of wide receiver you want out there who can put up the type of numbers he looks around the league and sees his counterparts putting up. And for him, I don't even think it's necessarily about that because they both want to win. Devontae Smith came from Alabama where he won. And he was arguably statistically the greatest college football wide receiver of all time. Just being honest about it. Also won a Heisman Trophy as a wide receiver. He wants to win. AJ Brown, I believe, wants to win. But they just want to be a part of the winning. No wide receivers want to go out there playing a position where your financial compensation is completely based upon your contribution statistically to the team. They don't want to be out there running around just blocking all day, man. That's not what they're out there for, especially if you're Devontae Smith at 180 pounds. So I think this is a very interesting matchup, man. Listen, the Denver Broncos, they've been able to get after the quarterback this season pretty good. Nick Bedito, he's been pretty solid for them off the edge. You got the matchup, and this is something that goes back to A.J. Brown and Devontae
Yeah.
Smith. Devontae Smith played against Patrick Surtain in college. That was his teammate. Last time they played, Devontae got the best of him. A.J. Brown, he's going to see his fair share of Patrick Surtain Jr. out there as well. So they want to get their opportunities to get their plays off also. I don't think the Broncos, well, I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to really run the football on this team, though. That's been an area that they've struggled all season so far, barely being able to eclipse 3 yards per carry. Saquon only ran for 2.9 yards per carry last week in that win against Tampa Bay, which was kind of expected, though. But I still think the Eagles pulled this game out. Bo Nix has played really well, though. He's been getting the ball out of his hands very quickly. He's been making good decisions. He's been finding open guys. He's been taking the chunk plays when they're there as well. But I just think the Eagles right now, they're a little bit further ahead, and they'll be able to make those key plays in crunch time that most of these teams that play them and come up short against don't.
Yeah, I'll take the Birds as well. All right. Houston at Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, obviously, he's going to be out. He's dealing with a hamstring issue. He might be out a couple weeks. So Cooper Rush, the former Dallas Cowboys backup quarterback, will be in the starting lineup again with the Ravens. I mean, look, Baltimore's got some issues. The Texans do as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough game to kind of gauge, honestly, because you don't know. You saw what Houston did last week. Houston has looked bad the first few weeks of the season, but you saw what they did against Tennessee last week. They were able to wipe them out, hold them scoreless. So on a week-to-week basis, you're kind of questioning, okay, well, the Baltimore Raven defense hasn't been all that good either. But they are at Baltimore. Um, you're talking about a situation where Lamar Jackson, he's out of the game, but you got a veteran quarterback in Cooper Rush stepping in. There's always the element of surprise in that situation. The backup steps in and plays really well, particularly in that game. They can still run the football. Now, I will say that Texans defense has been very stout this season against the pass. Not as much against the run, but they have been able to generate some pressure up front. I'm going to give the nod to the Ravens in this situation because despite the fact that they haven't looked good, the Texans haven't looked good at all either. And
Nope.
that Texans offensive line has not been good, period. So this could be a situation where the Baltimore Ravens defensive front has a get right game, or at least a bit of a get right game for them defensively. And I think by them being at home does play a huge role as well. So I'm going to take the Ravens in this situation.
Yep. Great points. I'm taking the Ravens as well. Texans have not been looking good at all.
Not at all, man.
Offensive line, not the best. All right, let's move on to Tennessee at Arizona.
Cards. I'm disappointed in them though. Cards. This is a fork in the road game, I think, for Arizona. You started undefeated the first couple weeks of the season. You had a rubber meets the road game against Frisco. They kind of out physical.
Should have won. They should have won that game.
Yeah, but thing is this: they played well enough defensively, and that's without their number one pick, Walter Nolan, who should be back by schedule in the next couple weeks. So that should help them get more pressure up front as far as on the interior for a team that doesn't blitz a lot at all. But they've been putting a lot of weight on that defense. And we talk about teams that struggle to score offensively, struggle to generate big plays. When you put a lot of pressure on your defense, the levees eventually break. That's still a young defensive football team, too, for them to put that much pressure on them. But ultimately, look, man, it's this. Your quarterback isn't playing good enough, and your top 5 wide receiver isn't playing good enough. Now, you can blame the wide receiver. You can blame the quarterback for that matter. You can blame the fact that The Russian attack isn't going, and with Connor being out, that puts more weight on Benson, and Benson isn't the most
Benson's out
physical.
too.
And he's not the most physical running back either. He doesn't really like contact that much, and that's a knock on him that's went back to Florida State. But the one constant is this defense has played good enough for Kyler to play better. And Kyler, he misses a lot of the simple stuff. That's one thing I noticed with him. And there's not a lot of timing and rhythm to that passing attack. It's more so Kyler drops back 7 steps, bounces, 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 bounces. Nobody's open, run around like a kid who just stole their parents' cell phone, running through the house. And then I'm gonna pick up a play. I'm gonna pick up 15 yards on a play that should have been over with 20 seconds ago. Like, that's not a sustainable offense in the NFL. And it's hard, I think, for wide receivers to really develop a rhythm with him and chemistry with him because he plays so loose. But they say he doesn't pick up the blitzes he's supposed to. I understand he's sacked a ton, but if you watch these Cardinal games, these are blitzes and hots that he's supposed to pick up. You're the veteran quarterback in this situation, so they got a situation where, okay, Tennessee, number 1 overall pick coming in, they played like crap first quarter of the football season. This is a team that just got shut out a week ago. You're at home. This should be a get-right game for Arizona, a game they should win. They lose this game, man, Arizona may go in the toilet. And this is a team that I picked to win the division.
Did you see Cam Ward's press conference post-game?
They were ass.
Yeah. I'm going to keep it a buck. We ass. That's what
the Raiders? Oh, I thought you said we. Now you find a way to bring the Raiders back into it. I'm just saying.
Nah, I was not bringing them up, but they might be as well.
Arizona been close to the toilet too. Offensively.
Give me Arizona. I just don't see him. I don't know. Callahan might get fired after the game, or I don't know when they have their bye week, but could be some changes on the horizon for the Titans. All right, let's move along. The Tampa Bay at Seattle. Bucky Irvin not going to be playing at least for 2 weeks, dealing with the ankle/shoulder injury. Baker Mayfield's a little bit beat up, but he's a full go. He'll be playing today. Seattle, I mean, they surprised a lot of people. I mean, Sam Darnold has been playing exceptional, pretty good. And who you got?
I got Seahawks. Being on the road, Seattle's they've more impressed me than what I thought they would be heading into the season. Mainly because I had a big question in regards to Sam Darnold, whether or not he could repeat what we saw for him a year ago in Minnesota in a brand new environment, brand new team, brand new wide receivers, brand new quarterback coach, brand new OC, all of those things. And it's interesting because he's playing a little bit more backyard football, mainly because the Seattle offensive line hasn't been able to protect him consistently. But that's kind of what was an attractive point for a lot of people for him coming out of USC when he got drafted. But he did too much of it early. He had those poor habits, and he never learned how to really win from the pocket. I think when he was in Minnesota a year ago, he learned how to win from the pocket playing with Kevin O'Connell. And now you're starting to see Sam have a perfect mixture now of backyard football, but also being able to win from the pocket. Njigba has been great for him. The rushing attack could be a little bit better, a little more consistent. I think defensively, though, that secondary, even though Tyreek Woolen has had his issues with coaching and this and that so far this season, another guy that's been reportedly could be on the trade block for that matter. But they got the manpower, I think, to match up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receivers. Of course, Mike Evans won't be back for another couple games, perhaps.
Yeah, 2 more weeks.
Yep, so that's another weapon that they're missing out there. You can make the argument if they had Mike Evans a week ago, game may have went differently. Who knows? But Seattle's tough to beat. You talk about a team that's tough to beat at home. Seattle's tough to beat in that arena. And like I said, they're also starting to get after the quarterback a little bit more too.
Yeah.
So I got a few reasons for picking them. And that's not the place to really play down to level of competition, so to speak, if you're Tampa and have a tight game. So Tampa could not gonna say easily win that game. Tampa could win it, but I got way more reasons to go with Seattle in this game.
Give me Tampa Bay on the road, pulling up the upset. Rachaad White, I think is going to get going. Obviously, he's replacing Bucky Urban. And Buka, man, he is played exceptional for a rookie, man. He's been playing really well.
Yes.
Chris Godwin's first game coming back, I believe it was last week, right? Off the injury. So I think he's going to feel a little bit more in rhythm than he did last week. Yeah, give me the Bucks.
Seattle's doing a decent job of taking the ball away also.
Uh,
Got to keep an eye on that. Baker does take some chances.
What's Oh my god, I was gonna say that. Lost my train of thought. So, no risk it, no biscuit.
He ain't there though. He would have loved Baker.
Hey, he's not in the front office anymore.
Front office, like college teams have GMs. Oh, football is ass backwards now, man. Gotta love it.
All right, Lions at the Bengals. Bengals have not looked right at all since
Not
Jake
at all.
Browning took over as a starting quarterback off of Joe Burrow's injury.
Mm-hmm.
Your Lions looking strong. Big win last week against the Browns at home. On the road today. Who do you got?
Lions 10.5. I say the Lions covered at 10.5. Just looking at even prior to the season, I felt like it would have been a tougher game if Joe Burrow would have been there, but I still felt that we were a better team overall to Cincinnati. I don't think that's any type of crazy statement right there. But also, for me as a Lions fan, what's been pretty impressive and shocking is that, the pass rush. Even though Aiden Hutchinson is getting a lot of the pressures, we still lead the league in pass rush right now. We got 14 sacks, which is number one in the league. And the Denver Broncos, oddly enough, are right behind us. So for a Cincinnati Bengals team that's been struggling to protect the quarterback the past few years, Joe couldn't really move too much. That's a big reason why he's on the shelf right now. Jake Browning doesn't handle pressure well at all. That's probably why he could potentially be on the shelf. You still got those dynamic wide receivers on the outside, though. Jamar Chase, Higgins, they had terrible numbers from a stat line perspective a week ago. They want to get back. The Bengals haven't ran the ball well either with Chase Brown this season. So there's a lot of things going against Cincinnati, I think, in this game that point to Detroit winning this game easily. Now, 10.5 points on the road is kind of scary. So I know for people who are betting on taking Detroit or taking those points, you got to realize too that those numbers can be kind of sketchy. Detroit could dominate the game and still only win by a touchdown. Team could get a bucket late or whatever it may be to use an NBA perspective. But yeah, we've seen crazier upsets. I don't think it happens this week though. I got Detroit.
Yeah, I like Detroit too, but I think it is going to be a close game.
Why are they going to make it a close game?
Jamar Chase finally has a good game. Well, the offense in general. They just,
why against us though? It didn't
because
it ain't
that's
happened
what I'm
the previous.
predicting.
It ain't happened the previous 3 weeks, so why is it gonna happen
They
against
home,
us?
man.
What you got against us, man?
I ain't got nothing against you. You're wearing the Bills hat though. So you talking about the Bills or you talking about the Lions?
Talking about the Lions while I'm rocking this clean ass Buffalo hat. I'm just saying, man, you the second person I'd heard say that. Well, Ocho Cinco said that even though he's got the Bengals in his heart. Though.
Man, he was crying on TV last week.
He got the Bengals in his heart.
I know he do. Yeah. But look, the Lions are going to win the game. I just think it's going to be close.
You don't think so? You think it's under those points?
Yeah.
Under 10.5?
So. Yeah.
Damn. We didn't play down to our level of competition.
All right. Commanders at the Chargers.
Chargers.
Give me the Commanders. I'm going Commanders here.
If they do, I say it's up front. It's rough, man. Rough sledding for the Chargers to lose both of your best offensive linemen in a matter of 2 months. Because they did lose Slater, 2 weeks before the season started, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah. Joel obviously is dealing with the ankle injury. He's going to be out today's game.
Yeah.
You know,
left and right tackles.
Yep. Jane Daniels coming back. I think now he's fully healthy.
Is McLaurin playing today?
He's out. He did not
Okay.
travel with the team.
That's rough. Herbert been out there throwing to some damn good wide receivers since Quentin Johnston. Did he get LASIK or something? I'm just joking. I don't know if he did, but
They got new hands. I don't know.
he had a hand transplant.
The hand transplant.
Yeah, but Keenan Allen's found the fountain of youth. Lad McConkey, I think he's been able to, with Quentin Johnston emerging now, he can now set into, not to say that Lad couldn't play X or the Y or whatever, but I think Lad is more suitable to play in the slot. He's a slot
Yeah,
demon.
for sure.
Yeah, so it's gonna be rough to stop that Charger offense, man. Now, the offensive line, the Amarion Hampton, he's come on as of late, but still that offensive line, man. If you have offensive line questions, you have questions as an offense in general. But give me the Chargers today, though. I think they're better than the Commanders.
I'll take the Commanders. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
Sunday night football.
Oh yeah.
Patriots visiting the Bills.
Give me the mutant.
All right.
Eight
I'll
and a
take the
half.
Bills.
Give me the Bills.
Bills, Bills, Bills.
What more do we need to say?
I'm not, I don't need to
Josh
say anything
Allen
else.
right now is Josh Allen right now is probably the leader in league MVP.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Buffalo Rose. Yeah, give me the Bills. All right. Monday night football. Kansas City visiting Jacksonville.
Chiefs.
Jacksonville's been a little bit sneaky this season. Pulled out a big
Yeah.
win against the Niners. What, last week?
Yeah.
You're not buying
Nah,
Trevor Lawrence still.
I'm not
Yeah,
buying that organization, bro.
yeah, give me Kansas City.
What do you think of 'cause I think as of late, everybody's had their own opinions of Travis Hunter and what they feel like he needs to do. Akeem Talib came out on their podcast. Listen, I've had this viewpoint of him since he was at Jackson State. I felt that it was best suited for Travis to be a corner. Then if you want to give him a set of 15 plays out of 4 different formations, because you want to dumb things down for him as much as possible. You can give him
Yeah,
15 plays out of 2 or 3 formations with maybe 2 or 3 different looks that he has to understand, whether it be a quick slant, a deep dig, a post, a corner route. But you're going to run those 4 routes out of different looks, out of different sets. That's better for him. His entire skill set says lockdown corner. He needs to be a corner. And my biggest concern for him was that he would get drafted by an organization. He would get drafted by a bad organization that would not know how to use him, and they would view him as some sort of ticket sale guy. What would you rather have? An elite wide receiver or an elite cornerback or 2 average ass players?
well, I mean, I think it's harder to find an elite cornerback that is a wide receiver. So, I mean, I think he's got the talent to be an elite one. So, playing on the defense side of the ball makes the most sense to me. Now, I don't know what this
Yes.
coaching staff's got planned or what they see. Obviously, they know the player more than we do. They see him every day. So, I don't know, man. But
Man,
yeah,
we
I
seen
think he
enough. We
should
we
be.
know we know Travis too.
But yeah, no, I believe that he should be playing on the defense side of the ball only.
Yeah, I mean, people are underestimating how hard it is to play one side of the football, let alone two. You can
It's
do
not
it in high
college.
school, right? You can do it in high school. You can do it in college. I know a lot of it for Travis is ego as well. But when you trade up to draft a guy, you give up a first round pick to go move up to get a guy. You want a guy that's going to be elite. At least at one position, whether it's an elite corner or an elite wide receiver. I don't want 2 average ass players because until you settle him down and give him a true position, all you're gonna get is an average corner and an average wide receiver for a team that gave up a pick to move up to get a guy with his talent. So yeah, I think it's terrible he went there. Honestly, I felt like he should have went to a better organization or at least an organization that was deep enough at certain positions that they understood what he needed to be. But maybe they'll eventually get it. There's no guarantee this coach is going to be there after this season anyway. Because at the end of the day, they'll give up on him before they give up on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But Travis is the least of their concerns, I think, right now.
Yep. All right. That's going to go and do for our picks show today. Enjoy the games, everyone. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday.